Welcome back into this latest edition of the Charleston County Connects podcast, and we are joined by a judge today, Judge Irv Condon from Probate Court. And Judge Condon, I'll start by asking you this. You've been in this position for a while. Why'd you decide to get into this particular role?
I've been in, Sean, a little while. Thanks for having me first. And I've been in here since 1995. I first elected in 94. I left private practice in order to help others, and that's and try to make a change and improvement in our community, whether through its probate court and streamlining the probate process, organize that based on my accounting background as a CPA, and then always wanted to stress the need for individuals to get their estate planning done, to have a will, to have a business power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, a living will, all the different estate planning documents. And then further on, we do civil commitments for alcohol and drug, and I wanted to make sure that everyone gets the help they need. Hopefully they'll go voluntarily, but if not, we have an involuntary process. And then I created, for those who got involved in the criminal justice system, a drug court, a mental health court, and a veterans treatment court. And so then our happy side is the marriage license.
That is definitely the happy side. So you impact citizens in a lot of different roles, but what's unique about your position, you're elected. So there's, for yourself, when you're reelected to that position, what does that tell you about your impact on the community?
I hope I believe it does say that they approve of the job that I've been doing. And been elected, 8 times, and so hopefully that shows that I've been working hard at it and that they do approve of the work that our team has done.
And you certainly evolved over time. One thing we wanted to touch on is the estate planning workshops. They're virtual as well. Why is it so important for people to check into these workshops, and what do people use them for?
Okay. Basically, there's 2 purposes of those workshops. One is for estate planning, as I indicated, for people to get their will, get their various estate planning documents. The other is to help them probate a loved one's estate. Mm-hmm. And we walk them through that process, form by form, step by step. And that's one of the blessings of the pandemic. It showed us that we could use that virtual technology to help our citizens. And each time I do one of those virtual workshops, I ask where people are from, and most are local, but we have individuals from North Carolina, D.C. I think the furthest I've had is Alaska. I haven't had anybody from Hawaii yet, but you never know. They'll pop on there someday.
So you got 49 of the states down. Yeah. For the estate planning, when you're doing it for a loved one, does it make sense a lot of times that happens later in life when someone is perhaps caring for somebody who needs help? What's the challenge for somebody in that position, though?
The challenge is to get with a good attorney and actually to get our seniors to spend the money. Or if it's like Mother's Day or Father's Day coming up, the kids can actually pay for mom or dad's estate planning. The duty of the attorney is still to the parent. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing, just make sure people get their estate planning done. The duty of the attorney is to carry out the wishes of the individual, and there's no right or wrong answer, it's just what the individual wants. And we want to make sure we protect assets, particularly if we've got minors involved. You want to make sure you have a trust. Otherwise, if it's in one of our conservatorships, they receive the money at age 18, and many times people can't handle money at age 18. So if they get $50,000, $100,000, they may go right through it. Or if they put it in a trust, maybe give them 1/3 at 25, 1/3 at 30, 1/3 at 35, so they learn along the ways what the right to invade for medical reasons or educational needs. But anyone over the age of 18 and older should have a will, because some of the sadder cases we see is a young couple and one of the spouses passes, they have minor children, they'll end up owning the home with the minor child if they don't have a will. And they may want to move to a better neighborhood, and the child share has to go into conservatorship when arguably the 2 spouses would have agreed to put it in one spouse's name and be able to buy a better house for the family.
So I think the kind of lesson learned here is that no matter where you are in life, this is a process you should start as soon as possible, just to have things in place should something happen.
Yeah, that is correct. You never know when God's going to call us. It could be hopefully 100 years old, but many times it's 18 or 19 or young 20s, early 30s. So better to have the planning in place.
Something else you're involved in is when it comes to commitments. How does that process work, and what are some of the things you've kind of experienced in that realm?
Okay. Commitments, mental illness and alcohol and drugs affects all of our families. And we want people to get the help they need. Hopefully they can go voluntary to our Alcohol and Drug Center, which is the Charleston Center, or to our Charleston Mental Health Center located west of the Ashley. But if they go to either of those, they can get the help they need. If there's an individual that doesn't go voluntarily, the family can start an involuntary process. And if there's a crisis going on, they can call Mobile Crisis, and Mobile will come out to the site there. But otherwise, they can go to the Charleston Center or Charleston Mental Health Center, fill out the paperwork, and then that starts the process. The individual's picked up. They are appointed an attorney to protect their legal rights, and also a guardian ad litem to look after their best interests. A court proceeding proceeds, and then the judge's role is to get them the best treatment in the least restrictive setting. And that's the hope. But hopefully they go voluntarily, but if not, we have the involuntary process. That involuntary process is all confidential. We want people to get the help they need without any stigma attached to seeking or getting that help.
On a certainly a different side of things, throughout the pandemic, you did shift a lot of different things to virtual, and one of them is marriage licenses. And you guys deal with just about every marriage license in Charleston County, is that correct?
That is correct. And actually, our marriage licenses are good around the state. And so what we bumped up, we did 4,500, 5,000 marriage licenses a year. We're now up in the 7,000 range.
Wow. Because
the other counties are coming to our program, which is called LOVE, which is L for Live, Online Virtual E-Marriage Application. And one of my law clerks, James Ford, came up with that name, and so we're proud of that, and it's a good process. I would also mention that when you probate in the state in Charleston County, we're the only probate court that has an electronic filing system. And so they can file anywhere in the world, except for one country. We have not gotten into North Korea yet, but anywhere in the world, you can probate in the state online. If you don't have the technology at home, actually your smartphone, you can actually probate the estate from there. But if not, you can go to one of our local libraries. Whether you're down in Edisto, up in McClellanville, or here in North Charleston, you can go to our local libraries, and they're set up to help a family probate the estate.
Okay. On the marriage license, when people are getting married in Charleston County, so you're traveling in from out of state, anywhere else, you need a marriage license in Charleston County, is that correct?
That's correct. You need a South Carolina marriage license issued by one of the 46 counties. The license is good only in South Carolina, so you can't travel out of state and get married out of state or out of the country. You have to be married in the state of South Carolina. There is a 24-hour waiting period that our legislature has as a law, just to make people realize the big step they're taking. And so there's that 24-hour waiting period. You can apply online. We'll issue the license, and then you can get married. And many people are coming to Charleston. We have a number of actors, movie stars coming to Charleston to get married. Everybody wants to come to Charleston, and we're there to serve them. But our people from around the state also use our program because it is online. They don't have to actually. Horry County, Myrtle Beach is probably one of our larger volume counties because they can apply online and get it back online.
Have you had situations where people show up in town to get married and didn't realize they need a marriage license and come knocking at your door on a Friday?
Yep, we've had those calls. I've had those calls from ministers that have to tell the individuals that they need to get a license, and we do the best to accommodate them.
Yeah.
And I actually had a good friend who had his daughter getting married, and they forgot to pick up their license. That was back in the day when we issued them in paper, but now it's all done electronically.
Well, it's certainly cool to see the different steps you've taken to serve the public, both in person and online. Is there anything else we didn't touch on that you guys have going on at Probate?
We do have the workshops, I think, that you're going to put out there. That's probably, and we talk about estate planning in the probate process. I'm also very proud of our problem-solving courts. I started a drug court trying to give people a second chance, and we started that about 20-plus years ago. It's a process where we hold them accountable over about 18 months. If they complete the program, then their time goes away. If they fail out of the program, then they'll end up doing their prison time. But we're always, we expect relapse, and we work with them. We're not there to punish. Mm-hmm. We use incentives and sanctions to change behavior, hopefully more incentives. And the biggest incentive is their time goes away. The late Judge Goldstein came up from Florida. He started the first drug court. He was a Brooklyn cop turned lawyer turned judge, and I was honored to have him come up and help us convince our county council at that time to start a drug court here in Charleston County. And then I went out to Seattle, not for Boeing, but for they started the first one of the first mental health courts out there, probably the third or fourth mental health court out there in the country, and they modeled it after the Florida courts. And so they had a civil commitment patient kill an off-duty fireman after one of the Mariners baseball games. Oh, wow. And so they stepped in and started a mental health court using a lot of the similar tools of drug court. And so again, about 20 years ago, I started a mental health court. And then more recently, the last 5 or 6 years, I started what's known as a veterans treatment court to help our veterans coming back suffering from PTSD or substance use disorder, and we get them the help they need. And then we partner with the VA for treatment, and we have mentors, other veterans that help them through the program.
So is it important to have that expertise on staff to help with these different programs that you have going on?
Oh, definitely. And we've got a wonderful team, and I've got individuals in each area. Okay. So on the estate side, I've got 5 estate clerks that help probate the estates, and 1 is assigned, like all cases ending in 0 and 5, 1 and 6, and so they'll help the same family throughout the probate process. On the guardianship and conservatorship area, I've got clerks there that are experienced and help the families with guardianship and conservatorship. On the commitment side, we've got individuals that just help with the commitments, realizing we do nearly 2,000 commitments a year. So we are busy there. Those hearings are closed. We do those virtually now. And then in our problem-solving courts, we've got a coordinator for each of those courts. And then I've got other associate judges that help us work the workload. But it's a team approach.
And you've definitely seen caseloads go up in recent years. So has the virtual aspect helped balance kind of the staff workload and dealing with more cases? Yeah,
the virtual aspect and also the electronic filing. The electronic filing has cut down on the mail, because I remember during the pandemic I was there with the law clerk, had everyone else working from home. We were wondering whether we should open this mail. Is it contaminated? And then I just saw the volumes of mail. And then during that pandemic, that's when we came up with the electronic filing. So that's cut down the mail volume and allowed the clerks to be more efficient to handle the greater load. We have what's known as a gray or silver tsunami coming as the baby boomers age, because we have each day in America 10,000 individuals turning 65. So we've got a great workload there. And then Charleston County, we're booming here. People are moving in, and a lot of times it's the senior age level coming in, and so we've got people there to assist and help.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll ask you this one last note. Big golfer. So do you have a favorite course in Charleston County you like to play?
Oh, I can't specify one. Probably the Ocean course is the number one top course here.
That's tough.
It's a little out of my price range, but I play at the Charleston Muni, the municipal courts.
Yeah.
And very proud of that. It actually, the Jenkins family gave the land to the city of Charleston, so it's one of those charitable donations that is paying great dividends, and the land there can only be used for a golf course. So And with the recent renovation, I think it's actually the busiest course in America. If
Really?
you look at the number of rounds played, probably 65,000 a year.
Yeah.
We play there, and then my son also plays at Patriots Point.
Okay.
What is your favorite?
That's tough. I'm a Charleston National guy.
Okay.
I like it out there, and it's convenient and it's a fun place to play and challenging too.
It is,
Now
okay.
the greens at the Charleston Muni are tricky.
Right.
Yeah.
They've been redone, and Troy Miller that did a great job over there. They are challenging.
Yeah.
And they say it'll take a couple of years for them to soften up, and they'll be a little bit better. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I got to imagine a judge on a golf course, the Caddyshack jokes write themselves.
It's your honor, Your Honor.
Yeah, Your Honor.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. All the information about the Charleston County Probate Court is below, and we thank Judge Condon for being here. Appreciate
Thank you
it,
for
sir.
having me, Sean. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.